Well, I want to talk about this is actually my first scheduled date, I guess you would call it, but I had one prior to this when I called up this friend from work, and I said, I want to take you out to show. Well, before I got over there, I was wondering how it was going to go, and I got to her apartment, and there was cats all over the place. It didn't smell real good. And so I knocked on the door for a half an hour, and she didn't come to the door. So this is the date I'm going to tell you about now. It's called The Road to Brewer Lake in Hell. Well, I decided I was going to I didn't use coupons at the time. But Darren, now you know, it's not the good looks, it's the coupons. It's not the car. Because I had a hell of a car, boy, I tell you. I had a 78 Pontiac Bonneville that had four-door sedan that had 257,948 miles on it. So here I am picking up my date. And I said, well, how do you impress a woman? Well, you have to be macho, I figured. You got to be macho now. And you got to show your outdoor manhood. I love the outdoors. So what are we going to do? She said, well, let's go fishing. Fishing. I said, I'll pack up the cooler and we'll go out to Brewer Lake. It's someplace out there by Argusville. So I pack up the cooler, Cheerios. You gotta have Cheerios when you go camping. Milk. Milk goes on the Cheerios. Wieners. You gotta have wieners for the campfire. I'm ready to go. No buns, though, but we could just put them on the fire with a stick if we had a match. So I packed up the pup tent, picked her up. She got her sleeping bag, and she says, I'm ready. I said, well, we're going to Brewer Lake. So we drove down to Argusville, and I found out the road, this is back a few years, the road was gravel. And here I'm going along in my 1978 Pontiac. Clouds of dust are just forming inside the car, really impressing her. We hardly talked all the way out there. We set up the pup tent, got the sleeping bags in, and for some reason the temperature went down to about 25 degrees that night. I was freezing. She was freezing. We decided I couldn't sleep that night. Finally, we got up about 5, 6 in the morning. I said, we should probably have breakfast. So we got the cereal bowls out. I don't know who brought them. I think she did. Put the cereal in and milk in, and we were eating the cereal, and we were having just a wonderful time. I said, well, I probably should go fishing. So she turns to me and said, I'm not done with my breakfast yet. You don't leave the table till I'm done. Oh, okay, I said, I am pretty good at them manners, so I will stay. So I get my fishing rod after I took care of that, and really impressed her. Went out to the lake. And I looked at the lake, and it had scum, green scum, all over the lake. And I said, this isn't going to work out too good for fishing. So I went back and I said, I don't think this outdoor man thing is going to work out real good for me. So I get in the 78 Bonneville, and I said, we probably should go home. And we're driving along, and I'm thinking, boy, pretty I think I impressed her pretty good that time. So I'm driving along, all the dust inside the car, going about 60 miles an hour. We come to a railroad track. And all of a sudden we go over the railroad track, and kaboom, the tie rod busts on the car. One wheel is sticking out this way, and we're sliding along the road towards the ditch. And I'm going, holy cow, we got to stop this thing. So I pull over to the side of the road, and I look, what the heck has happened to it? You know what a tie rod is? That keeps your wheels together. So I'm a man, and you know what men do? They fix things. They fix things. So I get into the trunk, and I had a piece of wire. And I crawled underneath the car. It's kind of dirty to try to crawl underneath there, you know, and it was real close to the ground. And I wrapped that tie rod really good. And we went down the road a little more. And that car was just shaking. And all of a sudden, boom, right in the ditch again, and went right to the side of the road. Well, I said maybe we should call somebody. So there was a farmhouse, 2 farmhouses up the road. And one of the farmhouses didn't have anybody home. So I said, well, I should probably go across the road and see what that person says. We'll borrow his phone. Well, this is kind of an old building, and I just go, man, this looks a little creepy here. Maybe I better knock on the door, see if anyone's home. So we knocked on the door, and a guy came to the door. He had bib overalls on and no T-shirt. And I said, do you have a phone? He said, this isn't my house. And I looked behind him, and there was a big sign. It said, radioactive material, stay away 13 nautical miles. I go, oh my God, you don't have a phone? He said, it's not my house. Oof. So we decided we'd get back to the car, and maybe a man can do it again. We should fix it. So I had a sweatshirt on that had a little tassel. You could pull that out. And I crawled under the car, and I tied up the tie rod again. Get back in the car and start going down the gravel road. About 5 miles an hour. Kawam, it goes into the ditch again. I said, this is getting sickening. She said, you know, you're quite a man, though. You're using all those tie rod fixtures that you found in the back trunk and on your clothes there, too. Well, to make a long story short, it took us 4 hours to get from Brewer Lake to Fargo. And every road we had to turn on, I had to turn the wheels to the side so we could go around the corner, 90-degree angle, and then we got down another 2 miles and we had another 90-degree angle. And we got it right up on 32nd Avenue and pulled into to the station there, and they said, well, it'll take about $150 to fix that, but you can leave it there. So that was my first date with my girlfriend at the time, or my friend, and we've been together without coupons for quite a few years, honey, isn't it? 20?